What's going on, guys? Steve, Michigan Obsession. We're here for some mood talk. Just killing some time. We got my son's wrestling practice tonight. Figured I'd get on here, jump on here, see what everyone was up to in the great state of Michigan. Whoever's hunting and fishing. I know some areas, I believe, in the state are still hunting. Not a ton of them, but obviously for the most part, everyone's done for the year. We've got guys now that are finding sheds around the state. A lot of just different stuff going on recently. I know we talked about how they are put a law out. They're going to start giving the schools a choice to have hunter safety in school, which I think is great. It is up to each school, up to each kid, up to each parent, whether they have it or not. What's going on, guys? So this is Mood Talk. We have our podcast Beyond the Backyard. We have our hunting videos, and this is more of just a chill atmosphere where you can talk hunting, ask fishing questions, we'll learn from other people in the group, get a chance to just kind of have an unofficial, laid-back atmosphere rather than something so scripted. When you come in here, let me know where you're from, what part of the state you're from if you are from Michigan. Like I said, we are dialing down in the deer season for the state of Michigan. I think I said there's a couple counties that are still active. Ice fishing, we had a couple warm days. Ice probably isn't doing well. I know there's a couple of lakes that aren't the deepest, and they only had 4 or 5 inches of ice on them before all this warm weather started. So make sure if you do head on the lake, head on the ice, you do check the ice. As always, there's no such thing as safe ice. Bring your spud with you. Check your way out, especially after this warm weather. We've had a lot of snow on the ice up here in northern lower Michigan, and it definitely has put a hurt to the ice. So be careful out there, guys. It's not worth risking everything for. No fish is worth dying. But yeah, so a couple other things. Talk about a little more in detail. But another thing that just popped out is that they are going to make it so now you have to register your turkeys. So as you know, we've already, for the last couple of years, you've had to, within 72 hours, register your deer kills. Now they are going to make it so you have to register your turkey kills during turkey season. This just came out. Like I said, just like deer, you're going to have 72 hours to register them. For me, it's kind of stupid. I mean, deer management, yes, I understand. But for the most part, there are plenty of turkeys around. I mean, I even live in northern lower Michigan where we have up 50 miles from Mackinac Bridge, and we've had a couple hard winters, and we still have an abundance of turkeys around. I mean, more than anybody could handle. But obviously, they want to get some kind of study done on them, so they're going to waste a bunch of money on turkey studies. The deer studies makes more sense to me. I mean, people don't like them as far as having to submit your kills. But if you're going to study anything, it seems like deer would be a little more logical, just because they do seem to make a lot of decisions based on just not facts, more based on what they think. So I'm not 100% against the deer reporting, just because I'd rather have them make a decision based on what they actually see and not just making educated guesses. But with turkeys, I don't know if you really need to take the time to do that. There's a pretty healthy turkey population for the most part, I would think, in the state of Michigan. Unless maybe you live in the UP. Obviously, they got some pretty deep winters. They have the wolves, the coyotes, and obviously we have coyotes too, but we still have a ton of turkeys around here in northern lower Michigan. But anything else you guys want to talk about? If any of you guys have been out ice fishing, what's the ice like in your area? What's the fishing like going on in your area currently? Like I said, I know we've had 45, 46 degrees. What kind of conditions do you guys have for ice in your neck of the woods? If you are in Michigan, maybe you're not even in Michigan. If not, let me know where you guys are at in the comments. What part of the state you guys in? Like I said, we're up here in northern lower Michigan, about 50 miles from the Mackinac Bridge. I'm currently just killing some time, by the way. I said at the beginning, but we're just killing some time. We have my son's wrestling practice tonight. So I'm just decided to jump on here, see what everyone was up to on this Friday night. Mood Talk is more of a laid-back atmosphere. We just come on here and we talk about hunting, fishing, share ideas. I'll be on here with certain people here and there, maybe talk about different topics, but nothing structured. More just interact with the community of the Moo Crew, and just find out what you guys are up to. And, just asking my friends questions, I've learned more. So if I can learn from you, you can learn from me. You know, that's the best way to go about it. But what county are you guys in right now? What part of the state? Or are you in Michigan? Or are you in a different state? Let me know in the comments. Let's see this real quick. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm trying to look at something. But yeah, so talking about this year's deer season, I'm not sure what your guys' season was like if you deer hunt, but in Michigan, it was a pretty good season. I know I didn't see a ton until about November, and then we saw quite a bit of action. Once the rut started, we saw a ton, which is typical for where I hunt. I usually don't even sit until the rut. In my younger years, I used to waste a lot of time sitting in October. And now with the glory of cameras, unless I have something on camera coming in on a dime, I'll stay at home and not stink up my stands. A lot of times, the way the early season works, October, unless you have one coming in, bucks aren't just going to spontaneously show up in October. You're not going to have nothing and then have a random giant show up October 6th. They're still on their patterns. But once you get to the end of October, there's really never a bad time to sit. Especially that first cold spell, like October 27th, 28th time, from there on out, you really can't beat any time to sit. So, like I said, I didn't have a ton of action on camera this past year. And then I went out, when was the first time I sat? I think maybe the fourth sit. I went out there, had a buck grunting up in the trees with a doe, and I ended up putting it down. I think it was 19 and 3/8 outside. Nice, probably 4.5-year-old, 3.5-year-old, 8-point. So it was a good season, and I ended up tagging out down in Mecosta County on the opening day of gun season, firearm season, down at deer camp. But tell me about your season, guys. If you guys are deer hunters, if you're out fishing, let me know in the comments. What are you guys doing? What are you up to? What have you been up to? Are you ice fishing? Are you river winter steelhead fishing? What's your activity in the wintertime to help kill time? I personally don't ice fish like I used to. I used to ice fish a ton. I think at one point I was ice fishing probably 65 times a winter. And then once I moved up here and just life, family, kids, all that good stuff, I just don't have the time to ice fish like I used to, which is fine. I'm not hurting for it. I mean, I like ice fishing, but I'd be more upset if I couldn't deer hunt than ice fish. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys are up to. We are going to be doing our merch giveaway soon. Probably give away a hat and a t-shirt. I got to figure it out. Probably the next week or so, we'll do a giveaway on here. So definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're always putting out different podcasts, different funny shorts. I love doing shorts. Some people hate AI. I personally, I make my own videos, script. It's funny stuff that comes to my head, and I can kind of put it to life without having to get a bunch of actors to do it. So some people don't like it, but I don't use it. People, make people believe it's real. It's pretty obvious the stuff I make that it's fake. Maybe you hate it if someone's trying to portray something as real and it's fake. Yeah, I can see that, but I actually like making a lot of funny videos using AI. So check us out. Like I said, we have a ton of funny videos on shorts. We do a podcast called Beyond the Backyard. We're going to do this Moo Talk thing. And then we also will be doing some reviews and some giveaways coming up. We just hit 17,000 subs on YouTube, which is awesome. But we're just getting started. Now that the kids are getting a little bit older, my youngest is going to be 7, be able to do a little more content, get out there a little more, do a little more fishing, a little more how-to videos. I think we're going to get out there and do a winter scouting video pretty soon here in the next week or so. So that's what we're here for. We're just trying to give it a positive community in the state of Michigan with all the negativity in the world, negativity in the hunting fishing communities with with people that are experts. We're not experts. We just come on here and like to have a good time and share some of our wealth of knowledge and We're not like I said, we're not experts. We just share what we've done, and maybe it'll work for you. Maybe you know something better. So that's how you learn, and that's how you get better, is just picking up little stuff. But like I said, in the next week, we're going to be giving away some merch, Michigan Outdoor Obsession hat, maybe a t-shirt too. Just have to see the participation level and where you guys are at, and if we're going to do one or not. We do have a lot of giveaways. In September, we do our big raffle. We call it Jacob's Big Bucks giveaway. We raffle over probably $3,000 to $5,000 of stuff off with donations. Every $20 you donate, you get a ticket. And then 100% of the proceeds go to the Foundation for Hope in Fenton, Michigan, kids with physical challenges and terminal illnesses in Dream Hunt, Michigan. And we've raised over $35,000 for those kids since 2019. So that is what we do here. Not only do we spread positivity, like I said, if you go on Facebook or Instagram, we share people's hunting and fishing pictures. We're kind of like Michigan Buck Bowl, just better, well-rounded. And we don't allow any negativity on people's pictures, whether you shoot a big ball buck, whatever weapon choice you use. We're not going to let people diss on you and hate on you. And like I said, we raise money for those sick kids and terminally ill kids to go on the dream hunts in Michigan. I went on a hunt last year. This year we weren't able to make it happen because I was busy, but we went to the camp last year in Grayling, and it was awesome. We saw kids that were 16 years old that were sick with cancer, with a walker that shot a monster buck, and for a moment he forgot his sickness. For a moment he forgot that his condition and what he had been through. And so that's what we do it for, because you're giving these kids that have been through so much, whether it be physical challenges they were born with or be a thing like cancer that they've been dealing with. When you give them a weekend free with food, lodging, and they shoot monster 160-inch, 170-inch bucks, you truly see that like they actually have a real smile on their face. And these kids, this kid that I saw the day at camp, it really hit home. And my cousin, Jacob, who the whole thing's named after, my raffle, he died of cancer when he was 17 years old, and he dealt with cancer for 8 years. And kind of like this kid, even with this kid as sick as he was still in a good mood. And then just like my cousin would go home from chemo, and he would still run cross-country meets after having chemo. The kid had such a positive attitude. And you see that a lot with these kids with cancer. You see all these people in the world that are negative and just always, I mean, you go online, go to any page, and you'll have somebody that literally goes from page to page and leaves negative comments all day long. I see it all the time. I see people on my page, Michigan Outdoor Obsession Facebook page, that are the same people that always criticize somebody or have some negative opinion. And then you see these kids with cancer, and it seems like a pretty common trait. These kids with cancer are the most positive people you've met. And I wish we could really take that to heart and really learn from them, because the fact that these kids that we raise money for are sick, but they have such a positive outlook on life is motivating. What's going on, guys? Like I said, we're just sitting here at wrestling practice for my son. Just killing some time until it's done. Figure I'd jump on here, see what you guys are up to on this Friday night. Like I said, let me know where you're at in the comments. Are you in Michigan? If you're in Michigan, what county are you in? Tell me about your hunting and fishing. How was your deer season this year? How's your fishing been? Have you guys been on the ice? Whatever it may be, let me know in the comments. If you are on here, let's answer this question. If you had to choose one, would you rather deer hunt, or would you let's not even make it that close of a thing, because you might do other types of hunting other than deer hunting. You might do duck hunting or small game hunting or upland bird hunting. Would you rather hunt, or would you rather fish? If you could only do one the rest of your life, if they told you, hey, you got to pick one of these and you got to do it the rest of your life, would you rather fish or would you rather hunt? For me personally, I'd rather hunt. I love fishing too, but I feel like at this point, I've been becoming pretty obsessed with deer hunting. Thus the name Michigan Outdoor Obsession. But I really have become obsessed with deer hunting. I think about it year round. I'm constantly scouting. I can't go for a walk on the property without picking out spots for next year. But what would you pick if you could only pick one, hunting or fishing? Let me know. Also, what are you guys up to this weekend? I know we're heading down to Traverse City for a big wrestling tournament for a little My Way wrestling tournament. My 6-year-old, soon to be 7-year-old, is wrestling. We were up in the Sioux last weekend for wrestling. He got first place, went 5-0. He had a great wrestling tournament. We ate at this awesome place called the Wicked Sister in the Sioux. Highly recommend it. In the Sault Ste. Marie area, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Head to the Wicked Sister. Probably one of my favorite places to go eat, especially I'd say around here, especially in the UP. What I found, the Wicked Sister is awesome. Fresh food, great burgers, great pasta, good beer. If you're ever around that area in the Sioux, stop by. I promise you, you won't regret it. I'm not hyping it up. If the food sucked, I would tell you it sucked. The food is honestly really good if you go to the Wicked Sister in like I said, the Sioux. If you guys have any recommendations for places I should try out, let me know in the comments. I love burgers. I love Mexican food. Good pizza. Drip on here, hold on. Like I said, if you're watching right now, we got 3 people on here right now. Where are you guys from? Let me know. This is what this is about. Is I don't want to just be spouting off stuff and giving out tips. Let's talk about stuff. Where are you guys from? Are you a hunter? Are you a fisherman? Do you want to learn to hunt? Do you want to learn to fish? I feel like there's a lot of people these days a lot of kids that would hunt if they could be taught to hunt. You know, I grew up in a household. My mom and dad didn't deer hunt. My brothers didn't deer hunt. Some of my cousins deer hunted, but for the most part, I learned just from being around family and friends. My best friend Brian is probably the big reason why I started deer hunting. We started talking about it, you know, in 5th, 6th grade. So I give a lot of credit to him for me hunting, and then I just learned more as I went on, talking to people, making mistakes, obviously. Made a lot of mistakes in my early years hunting. But that's how you get better, is from learning. I learned more from making mistakes than I'd have from any YouTube video. There's a lot of experts out there giving advice, and that's cool. Take what you take, but take it with a grain of salt. Just remember that when you watch some of these videos, and people do know stuff. I'm not gonna say they don't have advice and good advice, but just go out there yourself. The best way to learn is to sit in a tree stand and sit there and watch deer. And like someone told me a long time ago, you'll learn more from passing up a deer than you will from shooting a deer, and it is true. You watch their movement, you watch how they react to stuff. But yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. Anything you see online, if you're trying to look at something, look at multiple videos. Don't just take one person's opinion as fact, because everyone's going to have a different stuff. Like some people say that this is like so-and-so's fishing lure. This is the only fishing lure that works. Well, maybe that guy had really good luck with that fishing lure. Same with deer hunting. This only works. You got to hunt this way. Well, you can do it multiple ways. Like I said, if you are just getting into hunting, or you want to get better at hunting, don't just watch one guy. Don't follow just one channel and have one guy tell you how you're supposed to hunt or shoot big bucks. Look at a lot of different stuff. Kind of pick a little bit from each kind of different stuff that you like and don't like. Try it out. Find out what works. Find out what doesn't work. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's you putting the time in the stand, you sitting out there and just, like I said, on your own, realizing how to become a better hunter. And ask questions. You know someone that's a big deer hunter? Like I said, again, pick their brain, but don't take everything they say as the gospel. Take it and try different things here and there and see what works for you. I think too many people out there, sometimes they get stuck in their own head and they watch one YouTube guy nonstop religiously, and he says, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that, you don't do this. And then people live by that, and they think that's the only way to shoot big bucks is do what that guy says. And like I said, you'll learn more from just keeping an open mind, asking questions, and like I said, learning from various people will make you a better hunter than just learning from one. But where are you guys from? Like I said, we're up here in northern Lower Michigan, somewhere between Traverse City and the Mackinac Bridge. What county are you guys, state, county, area? What part of Michigan are you guys watching us right now? Like I said, I try to introduce myself. I am Steve, Michigan Outdoor Obsession. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Rochester Hills. All right, man. That's Detroit area. I'm guessing you're a Lions fan too. I'm a big Lions fan. I see that they try to get a hold of the Miami Dolphins coach to possibly be an offensive coordinator, so that's cool. Maybe we can get a real OC in there. One second here. Oh, come on, man. I'll have to Barry Sanders. The Lions are just getting good, man. You can't give up on them now. I'll tell you what I hate. Not hate, but annoyed by. Is, obviously you've been around the Lions fan long enough if you know Barry Sanders. What I laugh at is these guys, these fans that just jumped on the bandwagon like when they became good. You know, like the people that became Lions fans like 3 years ago. And now they're all pissed because the Lions didn't make the playoffs this year. And it's like, dude, I've been around since I'm 43 almost, and I was around, like you said, for all the shitty years. So they missed the playoffs one year, and they're still above 500 team. It's like you can't be too pissed. Now, if you're one of the people that just jumped on the bandwagon and went and bought a jersey 2 years ago, and a T-shirt, and got all the gear because you were following the popularity contest. Yeah, I know. And now they're all pissed off and say they're not going to be fans anymore. So I'm all right with that. The bandwagoners can leave. Just like the people that say the same old Lions, even though they were 12-4, 11-5. I do have a bald head, man. I have really short hair. That's what happens with a deployment to Iraq will do to you. It's enough stress to take your hair right off you. Oh, the old Silverdome, man. Yeah, not a lot, man. Like I said, I used to have pretty long hair, but then 8 years in the service, having to keep that high and tight, and then as soon as I was able to cut it, as soon as I was able to actually grow it out again, it didn't grow. But that's just life, man. I'm not worried about it. I'd rather stay in good shape than have hair. Plus, it saves me money on shampoo. I don't gotta buy all that shampoo, man. Just one soap washes everything. I don't gotta buy the conditioner and all the other crap. Hey, yeah, I can't hate on it. The worst is when you get the people that grow their hair out, where you can clearly see they're losing their hair, and it's all stringy and nasty, and they're trying to comb over and all that crap. I always say, like, you just gotta throw the white flag up. I was in. Okay, actually, in physical good shape. I've always tried to maintain my shape, man. Even in the military, I took pride in it. Like, I always tried. I think I had. So you can get 300 on a PT test. I think I got close to 300 on every PT test, because I always said that if you're going to be in the service, you should not look like everybody else. You should hold yourself to a higher standard and be a soldier. Because like my mentality was, I wanted to be able to, if my buddies got trapped underneath a car or whatever it may be, I wanted to be the guy that could help them out. I didn't want to come down to we're going to die because you're stuck. So I've always tried to keep myself in tip-top shape. Even when I was in Iraq, I used to work out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week for the year I was there. But I was in southern Iraq. I was at Kab Adder in Talil, which was an old Iraqi Air Force base. Now, old Dusado 313. Now, were you in the service? I see you said you're asking about northern Iraq. So were you in Iraq? Sweet. Yeah, here's a weird thing. And anybody that's been overseas or been to a war zone, it's like it's a part of you that, and I've talked to other people that I deployed with. It's weird. Okay, so when you get away from there, you can't wait to leave, right? Like you're there, and it seems like you're never going to go home. Next thing you know, it seems like it went by in a flash. You know, it goes by really fast, and then part of you almost misses it. I don't know how to explain it. I've talked to other people that went to Iraq. Not that I want to go back there and visit. It's just weird to live somewhere for a year that you'll never go back and see again. Because for that year that I was there, I was comfortable. We had a good bed. I got to eat 3 good square meals a day, whatever I wanted. Heck, I remember I used to eat 20 egg whites a day and chicken and just like to the top, you know, and it's all, you just walk to the cafeteria, eat whatever you want, and meet a lot of good friends, and you get to work out every single day. So it wasn't horrible. So you get shot at and all the mortar rounds and that stuff, but like I said, if you've never been to a war zone, you've never been deployed, it's hard to explain to anybody else to have wrapped around your head that while you can't wait to go home, there's always a part of you the rest of your life that will miss being there. Like there's actually, when I watch some of these war movies, like Iraqi war movies, there's a sense of comfort that comes from watching it. And it's weird. It's like I said, it's hard to explain if you've never been part of it. It's just something I seem to experience. I feel like when I watch or see pictures of Iraq or different stuff like that. Maybe I'm the only one, but I've talked to other buddies that I deployed with, and they kind of have the same feeling about it as a whole. Now, were you in the Air Force? I see you 6 months. All right, and hey, I'm not hating on you, man. I was in the Army. All services deserve recognition. Hey, I'll tell anybody. So if you're going to go for a career, if you're going to retire out of a branch, and I was going to tell a young kid, I'd tell him to go Air Force all day long. I wasn't even in the Air Force, but you get treated better. You get paid the same, if not actually more, because when you're deployed, you get I'm pretty sure you know this already. So like when you get deployed to Iraq, the guys I knew in Iraq, they were Air Force, they got paid a stipend because the living conditions weren't up to the Air Force standard. Yeah. I mean, you get treated better, you get paid the same, if not more. Why would you not? Like, unless you, like I said, if you want to do anything else, like the Marines, more power to you too, I guess. But Marines, hey, Uper, thanks, man. Marines will get a lot of crap from people. But different branches will give crap to other branches. But at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. Because guess what? You're the 1% of people that have joined the service. And the people, since the beginning of the United States, only what they say 1% of people have ever served. So be proud of whatever branch you're in. And that's the funny thing is about National Guard, because here's the thing, true facts. The National Guard deployed over to Iraq and Afghanistan more than any other branch. And that's not me spouting just opinion, that's true facts, you can look it up. They deployed more than any other branch. More than active duty Marines, Army, Air Force, Navy. The National Guard itself, one second here. I'm in a gym right now. Hold on. The lights went off on me. Oh, there we go. Went dark there for a second. But I work with many vets. I hear what you said a lot. I believe the brain starts to associate love with chaos. Yeah, and like you said about the love with chaos thing. So here's another thing that's weird. So this is what I think messes people up. So when you first get to Iraq, you're scared, right? Because you see all the, I got there 2010, 2011. And so you've had 7 years to watch it on the news. Remember even getting to Kuwait, and we would have these trucks come on the base to empty crappers, whatever. And they have all the Arabic writing on the side of the truck. You'd go on the buses, and they'd be playing Arabic music. And instantly you associate that and you're just waiting for something to blow up. And then you get to Iraq. And I remember I was on the phone, Skype with my dad the first time. It was like the first 2 days of being in Iraq. And while I was on the phone with them, and it's like what? I don't even remember the time difference. It's quite a bit though, maybe 8-9 hours ahead. I don't know exactly. It's been a while. But I'm Skyping with them and I hear two booms. It's like two people slam two doors. Well, and all of a sudden you hear the mortar alarm, incoming, whatever. So I had to jump off the phone. And obviously, right then you're scared. You're 3 days in Iraq. You're getting mortared. So you run to the thing. You're all ready to go, gun loaded, whatever. By the end, it doesn't even faze you. So something that initially scared the crap out of you, by the end, I remember we were playing euchre, and we would get mortared, and we wouldn't even skip a beat. You barely would acknowledge that there were mortar rounds around us. Or you wouldn't even get out of bed. I remember telling your captain, like, yeah, I'm good, man, because we had different chews. You sleep in these chews that have, like, separated into 3 different rooms, 2 people per room. And our captain was, like, 2 buildings down, not even that. And he would come over, make sure we were good, and we'd go back to bed because you just wanted to go to work in the morning. And everything was good. Most of the times they would shoot 2, 3, 4, 5 in. And, looking at it now, I was like, yeah, that probably could have been deadly, could have died. But at the time, you literally become so used to it that you start becoming, like you said, complacent to it because it just becomes normal life. Hey, thanks a lot, Deadshot. Appreciate it, man. I was at the Erbil base in northern Iraq by Kyrgyzstan region. Okay. Was that a big base or a little base? Like I said, I was at Talil, which was an old air base for Iraq, so it was pretty big. I think we had 4 or 5 gyms on base, like 4 or 5 DFACs. So PXs, 3 PXs. So it was pretty good. By the time I got there, it wasn't as many people. I guess before I got there, there was, other countries were there. It was multiple countries on the base. By the time I got there, all the foreign people had left. The foreign armies and stuff. It was just Americans. Baghdad airport. Never went to Baghdad. Well, here's a good question here. Do you think Michigan will ever pass baiting? Yes, but I can't tell you when. I think... Now, I'm not 100% sure this is true, and I don't like getting political. But I would think as soon as you get a Republican in office, I think you'll get baiting back. That's my guess. What do you buy at the PX? I didn't buy a ton of stuff. You could buy steaks and stuff even at the PX. I bought a lot of, obviously I was working out pretty hardcore, so I ate a lot of tuna fish. I bought a lot of tuna fish. I did buy some steaks. We had TVs even in our little PX right on base, right next to our gym. They actually built gym / PX / little relax area. Like the last 4 months I was there. I don't know why they built it because literally they were going to close everything down 6 months later. Not even that. But even that had TVs and stuff in it, and a full decked out gym and all that stuff. So that's what I miss, is that you had unlimited sources of food. You had a really nice gym to work out in, and you had no outside distractions. All you had to do was go to work, go back to your thing, go work out, and we even had on base, we had men's slow pitch leagues. We had flag football leagues. So that's kind of interesting when you have to get off the field because there's mortars shot in you incoming, and you got to run to a bunker. 6 to 7 gyms. It was a big size base. Like I said, unless you've ever been deployed, it's hard to really, all of us that have been deployed, you really can kind of, even if you're at different times, you can kind of grasp the same concepts as far as the way we look at it. Like I said, the way we kind of miss it. It was pretty simple. It's a pretty simple life. Like I said, everything's pretty done for you. There's no outside distractions. Obviously, you see the guys they're getting divorced from their wives. The wives cheat on them, and vice versa. People dying at home. I know one of my best friends died in a motorcycle accident when I was 3 weeks into Iraq, and that's tough. So that kind of stuff's the worst. In all honesty, the worst part of deployment wasn't even the deployment itself. It's just the stuff you experience while you deployment. Like I said, deaths, people have breakups. That stuff's worse than sometimes the actual fighting part of it. It's just the trying to deal with home issues while you're thousands and thousands of miles away. Okay. I'll have to look it up. I never heard of that, man. How many years did you serve in the Air Force there, Dewside 313? But hey, guys, so I'm here. Like I said, I'm here at my son's wrestling practice. I'm gonna get going, go watch him and see what he's up to. But I will be live streaming again tonight, probably at some point, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. So make sure you hit that YouTube subscription button, hit the notification bell, and we'll come in here talk whatever you want to talk about. We talk hunting, fishing, if you served, Army stories, whatever you talk about, guys. This, like I said, this is more of a relaxed place for people just kind of shoot the crap and somewhere we can not be negative, not fight about stuff. 6 years in the Air Force. Thanks for your service, man. But I got to go, guys. Appreciate everybody that's been on here. Hopefully talk again. Hopefully I see you guys soon. And have a great rest of your night if I don't see you. All right?